Right, let's get this out of the way. GameCube games on Nintendo Switch Online, probably going to be a bad thing. It's probably going to be a bad thing for multiple reasons. And I know I've tried not to be negative in my videos and stuff, and I know this is going to be a controversial take. But let's start with the 2 points I want to make. So the first point I want to make is they've already have remade games like Paper Mario 2001 Year Door, which was one of the most notable GameCube games. So if they're going to already remaster and remake certain games, is there much point in doing this? Second thing we need to go over is obviously the Wind Waker stuff, because obviously Wind Waker HD, huge improvements on the GameCube game, and this also means that since this is going to be a launch title for the GameCube app on Switch 2, I don't think we're going to get Wind Waker HD on Switch 2. I just don't think that's going to happen, and that's also quite a negative, because that's just the improved version of the game. It's like miles better, with graphical updates, but just quality of life improvements all around to make the game run better and just look better as an experience. Now, the other thing we need to go over, which I think is going to ruffle a lot of people's feathers, is price. Because currently, Switch Online expansion pack, which is where the GameCube app will obviously be housed, will obviously currently cost, I believe, something like $60 a month US, $50-$60 US, and it's like 35 British pounds a year, which isn't too bad. A deal. And I think Nintendo will know it's not that bad a deal. And I think Nintendo will probably use that as an excuse to raise the price without actually offering much more content, because the launch lineup for the GameCube app is literally 3 games. And I know that the GameCube games are technically longer experiences. They have more content, so to speak, because obviously they were GameCube games. GameCube games were bigger than N64 games and whatever. I do understand that argument. Personally, I'm not a fan of that argument, because I don't see how you can obviously increase the subscription price based on obviously there being 3 new games, but not actually improve any of the online services. That just annoys me. But I do think Nintendo will raise prices based on that, and I do think this is going to be bad for consumers. But then again, a lot of stuff Nintendo's been doing with the Switch 2 does seem to be bad for consumers. Obviously, raising prices of standard games, charging for like the tutorial to how to use the console. It's been a bit iffy, but I feel like the GameCube app will be used as sort of like an excuse for like why they can do certain things, because they're adding these new games, and that means the emulators may not be great at the start, because obviously these emulators may not run that great on Switch 2, and they improve them over time. Which, okay, sure, that happens with emulators sometimes. Sometimes they're not always the best, and they don't run properly on the systems, but they get improved over time. But then the fact we won't get Wind Waker HD, which is going to be a big issue for a lot of people, because obviously that was just an overall better version of the game, as well as them potentially raising prices because they're adding these games. And obviously, like, if they raise prices near the start, that's going to kind of be like shady, because obviously they were only going to add 3 games at launch for it. But hopefully the price increase isn't that insane, and it doesn't end up with us having to pay like 70 quid a year to access like 5 extra GameCube games, because that would just kind of be that would just be kind of like trashy, really. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think GameCube games are going to be a bad thing for Switch Online? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, like, share, all that stuff. I've been EC, and I'm signing out. Peace.